live from the Taipei Music Center in Taiwan. This is NVIDIA GTC Live at COMPUTEX.
The eyes of the tech world are on Taipei as thousands gather at COMPUTEX, one of the world's largest showcases in the industry with a focus on AI and robotics, next-gen tech, and future mobility.
This year, NVIDIA's founder and CEO, Jensen Huang, will open the conference with his signature keynote address.
Until then, we've gathered some of the brightest minds and biggest names in tech to discuss the company's past, present, and future. The stage is set, the lights are bright. It's time for NVIDIA GTC Live at COMPUTEX.
Hi, I'm Ben Reitzes.
And I'm Brady Wang.
Brady, I'm really excited to be here because as an equity analyst who closely covers NVIDIA at Alias Research in New York, I know that the tech community, along with investors, are looking forward to hear how Jensen and his team are driving the AI revolution forward. You know, the products and initiatives announced here set the course for the AI market, not only in terms of chips, but they also draw attention to an entire ecosystem that drives the creation of real-world applications that can use the technology. You know, you can sense here, Brady, a lot of excitement around autonomous AI agents, physical AI, which is led by robotics, and advancements in amazing reasoning models, which really are just still moving at a breakneck speed. So with that, I want to turn to my co-host, Brady. You're from Taipei. What does this mean, COMPUTEX mean to the community here?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Brady Wang from Counterpoint, and I'm excited to have you here in my hometown, Taipei, Taiwan. 欢迎来到我的故乡台北，台湾。We are at COMPUTEX, a huge tech event that started back to the 1981. Over the years, it has become one of the most important stages for showcasing new technologies. Now, it's placing stronger focus on AI and how it's shaping the future. It's a gathering point for the global tech communities where ideas are shared and innovation takes off. This year, GTC Taipei kicked off as one of the first key events at COMPUTEX, setting the tone for the week ahead. Thank you for joining us, and let's dive to the exciting world of tech, GTC Taipei at COMPUTEX.
Well, as you can see, guests are filing into the venue. And you can see that behind us. But as the anticipation builds for Jensen's big keynote, which is coming up soon. But today in our pregame show, we're going to explore 3 chapters of NVIDIA's story that showcases how it remains at the center of critical partnerships across Taiwan. To that end, some of Taiwan's and the world's most important companies are joining us to set the table for Jensen's big keynote, sharing their unique perspectives and histories from the front lines of AI innovation. So right now, let's take a look at how NVIDIA's humble beginnings grew into something that is changing the world at a remarkable pace. To help us kick off today's conversations is someone I've known for over 20 years, Jeff Clark, the COO and Vice Chairman of Dell, a company I actually cover as an equity analyst as well, so you're near and dear to my heart.
And joining Jeff is the Dr. YJ Mi, Executive Vice President and the Co-Chief Operating Officer at TSMC. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Great to see you. So, Jeff, I was hoping you could tell us quickly why you're here in Taipei.
Well, real simple. Jensen asked me, which is no small task given we have Dell Technologies World kicking off in a few hours in the United States. But how could you say no?
Yeah, he's got a way with people, right?
He does.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe, Jeff, you can walk us through your take on the evolution of Dell's partnership with NVIDIA, starting from the early days, the gaming card integration, all the way to these complex full-stack AI systems where you're generating billions of revenue together.
Sure. I was thinking about when the first time I met Jensen, which best of my recollection is early 1996. Back in the day when 3D graphics was really making its inroads inside the PC industry. And we started our engagement with NVIDIA. If I recall correctly, it was our Dimension desktop. It was the Riva 128. We put it on the map, and the rest is sort of history. We were on the back cover of PC Mag, which back in those days meant something, where that was a real piece of marketing collateral that drove demand, performance leadership. And from that very point, we've had a very close partnership with NVIDIA. We've had many first-to-markets, many performance leadership products, breaking into new markets like the professional workstation market that we entered in 1997. We entered with Jensen and his platforms and products shortly thereafter with what became the Quadro product line, the professional graphics. We've been doing work, I think, deep level collaboration for, again, many, many years that led our way to GPUs, led our way to ultimately the things that we're building today, and ultimately to the partnership that I'm trying to showcase here today, the Dell AI Factory with NVIDIA, which is ultimately a deeply integrated system and taking the pursuit of accelerated computing and the architectural transformation that's underway today, working together and doing things that were nearly impossible just a handful of years ago.
I love that shirt.
I do too.
Yeah, you got the Texas logo on the arm. It's good.
Hi, I'm YJ. I believe TSMC and NVIDIA has been working for a long time, and both share the same engineering background and also have a very high commitment to the qualities. So what do you remember about the early days of working together with NVIDIA, and what made the partnership so special?
Yeah, I think the unique partnership between NVIDIA and TSMC began in 1997 when our founder, Dr. Morris Chan, personally reached out to Jensen Huang in response to his request for a foundry service. And after initial connection, we have worked together, cultivate a very deep and enduring collaboration. And NVIDIA's first product, as Jeff also mentioned, the Riva 128, and also Riva TNT, a star production in TSMC at that time. In TSMC's newly established H Fab 12. Actually, at that time, I was Fab 12's engineering manager, responsible for the quality and yield of that particular product. So since that, until 1997 to 2017, yeah, I think TSMC has delivered over 6 million 12-inch equivalent wafer to NVIDIA. I think the number grows, but we won't be able to release the new number because it's not the public information. However, it's obviously that TSMC and NVIDIA will grow together, and we are thrilled by the remarkable achievement that NVIDIA has achieved, become the global $3 trillion industry leader.
Wonderful. Yeah, 1997.
Yeah.
That's the year I joined TSMC, but I left 5 years after 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, YJ, really good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a legendary partnership that you have with NVIDIA. It's amazing. How has the technical collaboration changed over the years? Was there ever a time where you had to tell NVIDIA to change course, or vice versa, they had to tell you?
Yeah, I think my major engagements with NVIDIA start from when I engaged with Joe Greco, Senior Vice President of NVIDIA Advanced Technology team. And starting when we were doing the development of 28 nanometer technology. And since that, we have driven the limit of innovation today to 3 or 2 nanometer, TSMC's most advanced technology, as well as our most advanced packaging, CoWoS, the SOIC, 3D die stacking technology. I think NVIDIA is always has the most challenging product with largest die size, very difficult to manufacture, require the highest standard of quality and yield. And, however, we work together very well and closely. And also we are always, NVIDIA is an amazing customer of TSMC. And it's constantly deliver revolutionary product to the world through TSMC's foundry manufacturing service. And at the beginning, we are just a partner on product design and manufacturing service, but now we work together very deep in technology collaboration and development beyond what we call the design for manufacturing or design technology optimization, or even today to system level integration.
So, Jeff, now we are in Taiwan, and we know Taiwan is the center of the chip production and also the system production, right? So could you talk about the Taiwan chip and the system pipeline that enable Dell's global executions for decades?
Sure, but maybe to build on a little bit about what YJ was talking about. I remember entering this industry, my first design was an 8086. Less than 50,000 transistors, 3,000 nanometers as we would cast it today. 286, 150,000 transistors, 1,500 nanometers, and now you're putting 100 billion transistors on a die at 2 nanometers.
Amazing.
It's a 3 million times improvement in density, 750 times smaller. That's what's enabling technology. That is why we're able to do and build the things that we're building today. And then you couple that, I was reflecting on my time here in Taipei. I think I first came in 1990, so I've been coming for 35 years.
Whoa.
I grew up in this industry with many of the tech giants on this island. And I think about the innovation they've brought, the manufacturing capability they've brought, the engineering capacity and capability, and it's enabling us to take a desktop market to become a notebook market, become a server market, network market, storage market, building out the fundamental infrastructure that our company needs, our customers desire to win in the marketplace. And I think about what's happening today with the computational intensity that we're getting out of the tremendous chips that are being manufactured, putting that together with high throughput, low latency fabric, taking that with some of the high speed disaggregated storage architecture that we have done, you bundle that together and you build these enormous computers that are capable of things, again, that we didn't think of 2 years ago, 3 years ago that were possible to do. And we're solving huge problems, and we've only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Well, YJ, sounds like you make the world go round. NVIDIA's got a lot of great products coming. We got Blackwell, GB200s, and then the GB300, Rubin. How are you collaborating about what's next? How are you shaping the future? We don't want to steal any thunder from Jensen, but how are you helping them make it happen?
Well, for TSMC, it's important for us to put the right technology at the right time, of course, at a cost that makes sense. And NVIDIA, one of the NVIDIA's greatest strengths is their ability and agility to adapt strategy to keep pace with the ever continuous changing market trend. So throughout these years of collaboration, we have been able to develop a reason to work together, allow us to respond quickly and to cope with the fast-moving market trend.
How about you, Jeff? How are you adapting to move as fast on Jensen time?
Speed of light, you mean?
Yeah.
You've heard that, haven't you? The speed of light?
Yeah.
Look, I think what's happened is, for us, we've had to rebuild our engineering model. The time between new pieces of technology and its adoption has forced us to rethink and reinvent our engineering flows, how we produce the type of energy density, the GPU density, how we power and cool these things in record time. It's changed the way we've innovated. We're quite excited in our ability to respond, and it's the deep collaboration that we have with NVIDIA that's enabled us to do that. The yield was we were the first to ship a GB200 with NVL72. That was deep collaboration done in a very short period of time, meeting the market needs and to respond to what customers wanted. And with Jensen going, we need to get this to the marketplace, that's what's underway. It's changed the fundamentals of how we develop and deliver systems and solutions to the marketplace.
I've seen you work. This is the fastest I've ever seen you guys work. So, YJ, what are you excited to see today? What do you want to hear from Jensen today?
Oh, definitely. What's his outlook on the AI, the new era everybody is looking for?
Yeah, that's critical.
Yeah.
And we want to understand what the future application, what the future opportunities.
Yes, yes, definitely.
How about yourself? What are you looking forward to hearing from Jensen today?
How the flywheel is going to continue, how it's going to speed up, the types of capabilities that we'll build, and ultimately the problems that we will be able to solve and improve mankind, improve human progress. We're building incredible machines to solve problems that have never been solved before. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm really looking forward to what the applications are that he decides to highlight today. I think the whole industry is looking for it. Well, in summary, I think we heard a lot of great things here. I think that these are two of the deepest partnerships that NVIDIA has, longest standing partnerships. Dell, obviously, your history goes way back into the 80s, meeting Jensen in the 90s, and now adapting throughout the whole GPU journey. It's unbelievable, and I've seen it. I'm lucky to have a front row seat. And YJ, your company, without you, the world doesn't turn on its axis. It's really clear that everybody, what we see today from Jensen wouldn't be possible without you guys. So, we look forward to hearing more about you. Also, I say as an American, welcome to the U.S. I know you've already been there a while,
Yeah.
but we're looking forward to what you're doing in Arizona.
Yeah.
And, I can come visit anytime.
Sure.
So thanks a lot, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Just, great to speak to you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Now, we'd like to fast forward to present day as enduring innovation and partnerships from the early moments are now being realized in the AI factory.
Let's welcome our next three guests, Eva Chen, Johnny Shi, and Mike Young. Eva Chen is the co-founder and the CEO of Trend Micro. Johnny Shi, the chairman of ASUS, and Mike Young, EVP of Quanta Computer and the president of Quanta Cloud Technologies. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
And hi, Brad.
Pleasures.
Thank you so much.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you here. Yeah.
I'm really excited to speak to you all. Eva, we'll start with you.
No, thank you.
So-
Maybe first.
Yeah, well, I think you're the only security leader that we're speaking to this morning. So, securing AI is a huge deal. We get asked about it a lot. I want to learn from you. How are you doing it, and how are you working with NVIDIA to secure AI? It sounds like a big job.
Wow, that's a big job because, if you think an organization is like a person, security before, we were just securing your leg, your arms, right? But securing AI is you need to go into the brain. You securing the brain and the whole nerve system where the AI is sending the information into all this nerve system. And if you think about IT industry, it's all about the computing power, transfer the data into information and generate intelligence for people to use, right? So this whole stack is hardware, all these people, muscle, to build all those hardware. And then I call it the infrastructure software, like BIOS, OS, network drivers. And then on top of it is application software, HR software, finance software, R&D software. Each of them then manage the data, analyze the data, and generate the functional intelligence. That was before. After AI, actually all the data are coming from the top and go into the AI model, pre-trained, integrated with the whole computing power. And then the application is just utilizing all this intelligence generated from AI to present the data. Right? Cybersecurity is a very special layer. We inserted in between infrastructure software and the application software. We protect the whole information flow between all this software and east-west traffic information flow. So we require huge computing power to analyze all the data. That's why starting Trend Micro, actually starting 2002, we already tried to explore and utilizing the DPU from NVIDIA. And later on, also using GPU from NVIDIA to do all this security data analysis. But now, with AI, it's even more collaboration. For instance, we are using NeMo, finding the NeMo. We are using NeMo to train our LLM, specialized cybersecurity LLM called Cybertron. And then we also using CUDA. CUDA is the data analysis pipeline, right? We're using CUDA to make sure we can better analyze the data faster. And then we can detect the anomaly using Morpheus system. And then finally, we package all of this, including the LLM and our agent, the agentic AI, or the agent in NIM, in the NIM fashion. And therefore, we can faster deploy all this security into customers' AI infrastructure. So that, I think, a very deep collaboration with NVIDIA.
Thanks, Eva.
Yeah, there are a lot of insight. And you know, in the morning I talked to Eva, my brain is full of the hardware. Now, thanks for the explanations. Now I understand the critical of the software, especially in the hardware.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny, yeah, you are the legend of the Taiwan technology industry. And how is the ASUS approach to qualities and reliability and co-engineering with NVIDIA critical to scale the AI factory?
Jensen's vision on the AI factory is indeed the next industrial revolution. To push forward such an incredible revolution at light speed, like how Jensen always wants things, you know the importance of quality and reliability. Today's AI servers, packed with massive numbers of GPUs to maximize model flops, are pushing state-of-the-art, high bandwidth, high frequency, and high power design to the extreme, making signal integrity, power integrity, and thermal reliability absolutely critical. Quality and reliability have been the cornerstone of ASUS, starting from our day one making motherboards. We have always encouraged our engineers to master signal integrity, power integrity, thermal simulation, and computer architecture. For years, we focused on SOTA, state-of-the-art. It's incredibly, painful, but ASUS engineers love the challenge. Overcoming pain and bugs is a part of our DNA. So we love this kind of challenge, And we really enjoy the co-engineering with NVIDIA, which is indeed critical to scaling the AI factory.
So do your engineer talk to you, tell you they like the challenge, right?
Always.
Okay.
They always love the challenge. Yeah.
So, well, Mike, you've been
Me
waiting,
too.
Fully.
Mike, you've been waiting patiently over there. Tell us about Quanta and QCT's approach to AI factories. I mean, it's amazing what you guys are doing. I remember thinking about you as ODM for PCs, and now you've evolved so much.
Yeah. I think AI factory is a very interesting topic. And I think from an ODM point of view, this is really something because of, what is AI factory? I've been, also trying my best, try to understand more about this from Jensen, and also how to, collaborate with my internal team, not only just the hardware, but also the software. Then I figured it out that AI factory is a, especially QCT AI factory, it's designed to turn your vision into reality. And, we actually also transform your data, your token into a practical and AI-driven intelligence output. That is the token out. So, in short, AI factory, you can treat it as a token in, token out. But I think AI factory, the most important thing, the core thing is AI infrastructure. The infrastructure is including the server storage network, management tool, and even the facility. But not only just that, but also, we need to work with the open de facto kind of partnership, the ecosystem. So companies like, NVIDIA, ML Common, and also Hugging Face, and etc. To support enterprise with ML ops, DevOps, and also multi-modelings. And the AI factory is not only just these two, but the most important thing is from the business point of view, you need to fulfill customers' requirement. So from the vertical industry, how you fulfill their use cases with the AI embedded, that's another thing. So we try our best to integrate the whole thing and to speak the same language with our customers and to provide the best fit solution for them. So this is, I think, is what we are calling the AI factory. And from Quanta and QCT's point of view, we've been facing this into our server factory, our manufacturing. And we find out because of the Omniverse, because of the digital twins, it helps us improve the labor cost, cut down 50%, and in terms of productivity, increase 30%. And the most important thing is when we change the line, do the production planning, it also helps us to reduce the time, cut it in half. So I think basically this is the target that we're working on and which is very much in line with Jensen's idea.
Yep, right. What I learned from NVIDIA is that the AI factory actually is token creations, token factories, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
take TSMC, for example, we always expect TSMC to increase the capacity, right?
Yep.
So we expect the AI factory to create more token and to create more money.
Yes, that's how I said it. Business model.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so again, the question for Mike is that can you discuss how you work with NVIDIA partners to develop the advanced server platform? Right.
Okay, I think this is a wonderful journey. I think I still recall that at the beginning stage, we start, my engineering team start working with NVIDIA from the DGX-1. I think everybody knows that's the first GPU server for NVIDIA in 2014, 15. So it's been almost 10 years. And since then, up to 2021, we've been working with NVIDIA for generations of HGX server machine for QCT, OTS off-the-shelf product, and not only just that, but also Tier 1 CSP customers' AI server.
Okay.
So with this, so we develop ourselves, become a good bridge between NVIDIA and the CSPs, NVIDIA and the enterprises. So this helps. So with these years, so we've been working with HGX. Let's talk a little bit about MGX. MGX is a very creative modular design architecture project, which allows all the customers can catch up, keep up with NVIDIA's product strategy 1 year reason. Because with this, so now you can see that NVIDIA expedite, pull in the schedule of their plan in rack level, scale up to GP200, NVL72. So with both parties' collaboration, and within this project, Quanta QCT, we also provide a lot of system design, system boards design, and also like a mechanical and also thermal design. So I think this is a wonderful contribution, and we love the journey with NVIDIA.
And challenge, right?
Yeah, well, don't even mention about
Yes,
that.
yes.
Always, challenges work with NVIDIA. Because Jensen, I think he is always very, outrageous.
Creative.
Yeah, creative. So always we need to keep up with, his thinking.
Yeah, additional question here. You mentioned the 1 year RIP, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the first I heard that, I was very surprised because that's a very fast pace, right? So, yeah, so you and also maybe the TSMC and the other companies, vendors must also face the challenges.
Yeah.
Try to keep up with NVIDIA.
It's
right?
it's a big challenge for this industry because usually, for x86, this kind of product lined up usually takes a longer time, So
yeah, mature.
But comparing to speed of light,
Okay.
NVIDIA, this is different. So originally, when Jensen mentioned about 1 year reason, everybody, especially from my engineering team, just say,
Whoa.
"What? Are you sure you want to do this with all the new advanced technology?"
Yeah.
That is more important. It's not mature
Yes.
technology, but we take the challenges.
Yeah, but you did it. You did
Yeah, we did it. Yeah, but I
Talking
think we
about
did.
challenge.
Yeah.
Just preparing this pre-game show thing, the change speed of NVIDIA's staff worker is amazing.
In the last
Every
5 minutes,
minute.
NVIDIA just launched a new chip.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Hey, Johnny, let's turn to you. I remember listening to you 20 years ago as a player in PCs, but how did you evolve? How did you get ASUS to evolve to be an AI infrastructure company and now partner with NVIDIA for these next-gen systems?
Okay, our strategy is to go all in on AI. Okay? At ASUS, we have a comprehensive AI strategy called Ubiquitous AI, Incredible Possibilities, which aims to integrate artificial intelligence across all facets of business, from the cloud to the edge to PCs and end devices like phones and robots, making AI accessible to everyone, everywhere. We also invest heavily in software development from the infrastructure layer to the system software platform layer, including our vital ASUS AFS, AI Foundry Service, ASUS AI Hub, AIDC, ASUS Infrastructure Deploy Center, and ACC, ASUS Control Center. And to the application layer, like smart medical, smart manufacturing, smart retail, and smart city, and so on, our goal is to provide an end-to-end AI factory service that includes design, manufacturing, and service. Yeah. Thanks to the national level Taiwania supercomputer project, which we took the major responsibility for, we have established a full spectrum of capabilities from hardware to software to support NVIDIA's magnificent AI factory vision. Beyond that, we've established global server manufacturing facilities at major global locations to further shorten the supply chain for our worldwide customers. One of our unique strengths is that we have over 2,200 locations globally to serve customers, including tailor-made SLA end-to-end solution services, and work closely with major vendors and partners worldwide. Our successful cases cover Taiwan, Japan, Korea, India, US, Europe, Middle East, and many countries in Southeast Asia.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, a lot of insight here. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Eva, the next question is important. As we are now in GTC Taipei at
Yes.
COMPUTEX Taiwan, right? So I believe Trend Micro is a Taiwan-based company. And could you share us what's a unique advantage come from being a Taiwanese-based company?
Well, actually, Trend Micro is the only global software company that is originated from Asia.
Okay,
We are the
true.
largest one that is originated from Asia. And so software is the part that we are very unique. In Taiwan, we are so famous with all this hardware manufacturer, TSMC, and all these muscle guys. And but last year's GTC, actually last year's COMPUTEX, when Jensen Huang shows the map of the supply chain and the little Taiwan in there, Trend Micro was the logo underneath there, and we were the only software company. When I saw the map, my tear almost come down. It's so
I understand.
feeling. So I think this time the AI security, AI factory, is actually originated from the software factory. Last time Jensen was talking about this AI factory, and he say he called all the software engineers as the software factory worker. I was saying, oh, thank you very much for calling me. Like, I thought I'm the white collar worker. Now I'm the all-true black hats, right? But that's, I think, is what AI factory means, right? If you transform from software factory to AI factory, this whole ecosystem is going to change. I believe Taiwan should play an even bigger role in the whole IT industry, not just the hardware computing power manufacturing, but the integration of software, hardware together to solve customers' AI question and problem infrastructure.
New factory concept.
Right, that's the new factory concept. Before, hardware company like ASUS, they pay software. They pay Microsoft a lot of money to bundle this operating system, right? The margin from, I've been joking, but truthfully, I think if Jensen can convince Trump that all the software worker is actually manufacturing worker, then Trump's dream of moving manufacturing back to US is already done, right? Software worker are factory manufacturing workers, right? So overall, I just want to say, I believe this AI factory concept will change the whole ecosystem of
Exactly.
IT, and then working together with the computing power and the software application,
Yep.
then we can provide the best IT infrastructure, AI infrastructure for the whole world.
Hey, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Hey,
You guys look good on TV.
thank you.
You guys are you're like broadcasted to this giant movie theater. You guys are gigantic.
This is a very professional studio.
It is a professional studio for professionals. Sit down,
We
sit
have
down.
partner here. You're going to sing solo in the show.
No, I was
Our
over there
honor
watching
to warm
you
up
guys.
for you.
No, so this is what happened last time. This is what happened last night. So it takes 2 hours, at least, maybe 3 hours to seat all the people.
Right.
Because they've been waiting in line for hours.
Yes.
And it takes a long time to, and so we came up with a good idea. Let's do a pregame show.
Yeah.
And a pregame show of industry experts, just like NFL football. They're all,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
they're all they're all coaches and, right?
Thank you. Our honor.
Okay?
Our honor. Yeah.
And so it's a pregame show of experts. And this is what happened. So after GTC, they asked all the audience, they enjoyed the pregame show more than the keynote.
I don't know about that.
I enjoy your dentist delivery.
They want to know your insight. Yeah.
So anyhow,
This year.
anyhow, I'm so happy you guys are here to do this.
Thank
All right,
you.
all right, finish your job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You do
Thank
your
you.
job.
All right.
I'll do my job.
See you in a bit. You got somewhere to go.
Yes.
Oh, what a big surprise.
Yeah. What a big surprise.
How
Right.
can he have so much time bumping here and there?
It's super. It's super.
What'd you think about that, Mike?
Oh, you know, Jensen is always a big surprise to us. Not only just from the technology, you know, product, but also the business model. As he just mentioned about, you know, AI factory, you know, he turned the technology become kind of monetization. I think this is quite impressive. Yeah, always very creative, innovative. That's how I know him. Yeah.
A true leader in every way.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to seeing today, Johnny? In summary.
Okay, I think one thing I would also like to take this opportunity to highlight is that recently people may have misinterpreted, you know, the impact of DeepSeek.
Yeah.
My belief is that, you know, it actually echoes Jensen's vision of AI factory.
Yeah.
It further popularizes intelligence manufacturing.
Yes.
I jokingly called it, you know, the poor man's Chinese Kung Fu. We have been watching them for more than 1 year since the publication of their first MAOA paper, which we were very impressed by. And then the following, you know, MOE, R1,
Yeah.
and distillation are all very impressive and solid, which also enables, you know, small models to blossom like wildflowers.
Yes.
Imagine one day the world will be full of AI brains.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
that come in different forms and, you know, and sizes, including super, big, medium, small, and even tiny, from the cloud to the edge,
Yes.
to PCs and end devices
Yep.
like phones and robots.
Yeah. And
We are all very, very excited, you know.
Sure,
super
Eva.
excited. Yeah.
What did Jensen inspire you in closing to say?
Well, I actually will say last time he talked a lot about sovereign AI. And when Trumicro actually is very big in Europe and in AMEA, all the countries, the government sector. And that is the strong demand that I'm seeing, that sovereign AI. And just like Johnny say,
Yep.
every country will want their own brain, right? And then every enterprise will have their domain knowledge, their IP in their own brain. So 国有国法家有家规, right? That's what we usually say. So I think what Jensen inspiring me and a lot of the software people is thinking about all this AI is not just one big open AI, right? It's every enterprise, every country will have their own AI.
The new universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. Thanks, a lot of great comments out of you all from the security side all the way to the AI factories, these great partners. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to
Thank
talking
you.
a lot more in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So as a reminder to our viewers, Jensen's keynote is coming up at the top of the hour. But before that, let's take a look at how Taiwanese companies and NVIDIA together are advancing physical AI to the next frontier. We're so excited to discuss the world of robotics with Scott Wang, COO of TechMan Robot, a division of Quanta who helps companies develop robots. We also have Dr. Peter Peng, Director of Delta Electronics Robotics and Smart Manufacturing Divisions, and finally, Brand Cheng, Chairman and CEO of Foxconn Industrial Internet. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning.
Hi, Scott. Welcome. Yeah. And I have a question. We know the robot in your TechMan has a collaborative robot we call Cobot, right? So it's a vision-based robot, right? Could you help to tell us about what role did you see the TechMan playing in the next wave of intelligence manufacturing, especially in Taiwan? And any practical example, use case you can share with us?
Yes, and actually, we started Cobot development around 13 years ago. And actually, the Cobot we have is vision embedded. So in the beginning, we think the vision capability is a must to have for the collaborative robot. So we not just provide the Cobot, the motion only. So for example, the vision here, we build in, and it's native. So the capability for a robot is a must to have. So in that timing, we provide a smart robot, collaborative robot for our customer. The differentiation compared with industrial robot is a gap. So because traditional robot, what they have, the sensing only the motor angle they have in traditional robot, because just they do some movement, one point to another point. So the computing power for the robot, right, industrial robot, is just motion. Only system of degree of freedom. So the computing is very easy. But once the intelligence comes, the vision is most important for the robot, like a human, right? We can understand the environment, we can reasoning, we can planning what we would like to do. That's why we have this capability. Most important is the vision. So 13 years ago, we think it's a must to have. If we compare the worldwide, I think we are very few company is vision is built in our robot. So in that timing, so we that's around few years, we cooperate with a Taiwan manufacturer company.
Yep.
Yeah, for example, semiconductor and electronics, even CNC machinery, those of the manufacturer. And what they need is an intelligent solution for them. Why they needed intelligent? Because if you just take one object from one point to another point, like the brain work to do these things. But we have the vision. So in their, for example, for CNC, in their production, their object come, the object don't need to fix in one precise position, because our vision, we can do positioning, compensate the variation and the pick. And after, process. And we also can check the quality, maybe some scratch and the AI function we are run. For sure, we also few, correct robot or industrial robot, the control bus, we embedded NVIDIA GPU inside. So we can do AI inference in our control bus. So like edge computing.
I see. So that means the robot can do the calibration by itself, and also can recognize the image, and also can make some intelligence movement by itself, right?
Yes.
And with the box below, embedded with NVIDIA GPU, it can do some high-level language model or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So today you bring the robot. Is that the real robot or just the mini one?
Sure, it's a toy, but
okay.
Our the Temin robot is
Okay.
I think it's easy for.
I understand. Yes.
You understand what the difference, because you can see there's the vision here. Yeah.
Well, thanks. Hey, Peter, can you talk about your collaboration between Delta and NVIDIA? Maybe focus on the integration of your D-Bot series of robots with NVIDIA's Omniverse?
Sure, of course. Actually, we are producing a lot of different kind of products for data center related, of course, included NVIDIA. And we are building the power modules for the data centers related. But our production line didn't really can be optimized or remote control the quality so easily. Yet, we have the chance to cooperate with NVIDIA, and based on the Omniverse, and combine with our, we call machine and robot twin, that can, based on our edge computing, connecting our machine and robot immediately, real-timely, return the necessary critical parameters and back to remote. For example, our production line in Thailand, in somewhere else in the world, but we can remote monitoring, measuring, and even calibrate, like Scott just mentioned, the robotics. While the machine have some strange things happen, we can remote calibrate based on the Omniverse, thanks to the Omniverse. And we have the beginning from the real to sim. We have the real production line, but together with Omniverse, we becomes better. And that is not enough. People need, we need to have much more productivity. Like Jensen just shared with us the day before, yesterday, mentioned about people used to consider cost down. But now, more and more productivities. But from our side, we need to be balanced. So for the new production line, can we do from sim to real or not? Can we minimize the unnecessary waste as much as possible? So we also cooperate to based on the Omniverse to do the virtual design, even from the very beginning of the product design. And then later on for the related machine, robotics, together with the necessary process technology to make the products correct and make the customer satisfied. So based on Omniverse, again, we do from sim to real. That means we don't need to really build the production line so soon, but we can make sure everything that almost like the reality and minimize the try and error after. So we cooperate with NVIDIA so closely from real to sim and sim to real. Okay. So this is what we have done, and we will continue to do not only for the robots, but machine, process, the whole production line. And actually this afternoon we will show the whole factory's simulation as well.
Thanks. Well, hey, Brand, great to see you. I mean, you're a company that we look at in our work very closely from your work with iPhones to smartphones to everything. But this robotics initiative is really amazing, and I think it needs more coverage. I was wondering, how did FII and NVIDIA first start working together and collaborating?
Okay, so probably people know we are running lots of manufacturing for the electronics. So we have more than, the entire Foxconn group have more than 200 campuses over the world. So just like what Jensen mentioned, the evolution trend of AI, from perceived AI to generative AI to agentic AI, even up to physical AI, we gradually followed on this. So back to 2016, we built the HPC with NVIDIA solution for medical research. We do not only make the smart manufacturing, but also like medical research to help something like a medical simulation, like 3D rendering in terms of tumor research. The phase two, we engage with NVIDIA to build a cluster of a V100 in Wisconsin. Probably some people know that we have a very big campus in Wisconsin to produce the electronics product over there, which we leverage the machine learning and start to use a lot of tools. But back to 2023, when Gen AI was booming. So we start to look at that, how to leverage the rapids under the ISAC. So the complexity of material moving on the workshop is very complicated. So how are you going to use AI? So we do train the AI model to move the material and send a signal to the material tower, also correlate it to the AGV, to the AMR, to the robotics. So actually, we make an ecosystem about this, to drive the material handling. And at the end, the impact is like we improve the unit per hour per person about 73%. With these AI models, with AGV, AMR together, we reduce the delivery cycle time about 25%.
Whoa.
Yeah. And more than that, at the worst, we are thinking how to raise up the automation level, because in a lot of manufacturing process, if you look at that, some things you really can do the automation and put robotics inside, but for some material, maybe very soft, very flexible, then you need more, something more beyond than robot arm or AMR or AGV, which maybe you need humanoid robots. So we are studying on this, to put into the production line, into simulate process, and toward implement a physical AI eventually. So we can resolve all these issues and really make entire production line fully automated. So with this, as an example, I believe a lot of companies, especially Taiwanese, Asian companies, like to invest in Vietnam in this era, right, in this decade. A lot of people think about that. In Vietnam, maybe the labor costs are cheaper, they have many people. Actually, this is wrong. Vietnam, probably their population less than 100 million. Compared to China, it's about nothing. So actually, the automation level we have in Vietnam is very high. You know why? Because they don't have so many technicians which can repair the machine, can optimize the parameters, right? Can coordinate the layout and so on. So we implement AI model. We implement AIM technologies to make it easier. Then how are you going to enlarge this? How are you going to enlarge this? So we use Omniverse. So back to Vietnam and the factory we have in Taiwan, you can see that in 2024, both our factory in Taiwan and in Vietnam got certified by World Economic Forum as a lighthouse factory. So the lighthouse factory is not just automation, but also come with a lot of agentic AI application already. you know, and the server factory we have in Taiwan is the first one in the world for the server, you know, as a lighthouse factory. So going forward, just like Dr. Peng said that, we leverage NVIDIA, work very closely on Omniverse. How you're going to reduce your cycle time, how you're going to drive high accuracy, high efficiency, high consistency for your operation when we have more than 200 campuses for the same product, Omniverse. With Omniverse, with the Isaac platform NVIDIA have, we work on robotics, you know, then also lots of LLM training. Then we can keep moving forward to duplicate. Then we can do simulation, we can do validation, we can do decision making. At the end, we measure everything before we deployment.
You're a pretty good Omniverse salesman, by the way.
Oh, really? Because I'm doing that. I have a whole bunch of team doing this because
Got it.
the thing is, we faced challenge before. Now we see the solution. So we need to adopt invented solution to resolve the all issue we have, right? So we can overcome. Yeah, so we can overcome the challenges coming along the way.
Yeah. Thanks. A lot of good insight, and I always like to hear about the use cases, and you do bring a lot of use cases. Yeah. And next question is to Peter. I think we have some discussion yesterday or a few days ago, right?
Yes.
So could you tell us how is the partnership with the NVIDIA simulation accuracy and also help to accelerate the development of robot solutions?
Of course, sure. Just right after Brent just mentioned, we are so pleased and thanks to the NVIDIA related USD and that so wonderful universal scenery descriptor that connect all different kind of tools that we are using for the old times, but nowadays all connect together. And just like we just discussed, how Isaac Sim can help us. How Isaac Sim can help us. For example, we do the kinematics of the robots for long times, but that is not enough. It must integrate with the necessary critical process who really makes the product come true together. And again, together with Omniverse, not only Isaac Sim, but also Isaac Gym, that we can pair processing much speeder because pair processing and the speed can be double and double. And also, one very critical, important secret is, can we do the machine for producing the product at the beginning? Not wait until the prototype almost complete. That could be too late already. Okay. So we are appreciating the Omniverse supplied a world foundation model and that the Q-Curious can support multi-user at the same time in the same space.
And can duplicate to the other.
For example, when you are designing product, maybe you are too busy, no time, but we can see what you are doing and then we can consider, okay, we know what Brady is thinking right now, so we have to match, synchronized, cooperate, concurrent engineering at the same time. So, mention about again what Jensen just mentioned, the cost is very important, the productivity is important, and also the cycle time is very important. And we are wondering if we can secure the quality. That means what? Do the right thing right at the first time. So if we can do the job well at the beginning, together, synchronized. It's an idea before, but nowadays, thanks to Omniverse, we have the chance to do it together at the beginning. Then we can synchronize from time to time to make the unnecessary waste down to the minimum. So how about the speed? Must be very fast, right?
Yeah.
The world is changing.
And efficiency.
Accelerations, so we need to be flexible and quick. So about, for example, our company's robot. I start my first job 40 years ago for robots, very, very old time. And I start from industrial robot, collaborative robot. Our depot collaborative robot is not only a robot, but much more important, it's a solutions that can really solve the end customer's problem, not only motions, but process. And thanks again to Omniverse, the simulations becomes much more real. You mentioned the accuracy. How can we do it? Not only kinematics, but the dynamics. How about you thinking the skin the material, all kinds of physical that we cannot identify so clear before. And also at the same time, we used to do a lot of process simulation, for example, by using ANSYS. Nowadays, that all can be connected with Omniverse, or even just do it in Omniverse. So a lot of challenge coming, but still I believe together with Omniverse, we can conquer so many things. Not only the machine, not only the production line, but the whole factory.
Just quickly, Scott, wanted to ask you one more question.
Okay.
You know, robots used to follow scripts.
Yes.
Now they adapt and learn in the field, go around and learn. How did you deal with that in work in industrial robots? How did your team adapt and work with that in the industrial setting?
Yes. I think that, for the robot, right, actually is some challenge we need to solve. And for example, for sure, the smart robot is needed for the end customer, but how easy for the engineer, they can, implement the solution in their production line. Currently, in automation industry, actually is still a gap. So we try to provide a very easy to use solution for our customer and our partners. So for example, in the tradition, right, just mentioned is only the angle of the motor we have, they have, but now the vision images come and the force sense feedback it also have, and also AI power is come, and the next step is so the very powerful function, how engineer can what they can do, writing the code. I think is another good thing for them. So it takes a lot of time. So what we are doing is the first thing is hardware portion. Hardware is easy, ready to go. What I mean ready to go. So it means once the robot, right, they have the robot, and we also provide the autofocus camera in our system, so they can for position, and one is a sensor inside, for sensor inside. So then what they have is for hardware already one platform, and the second thing is the software.
Yeah. Well, we're almost out of time, but Brand, let's start with you. Wanted to see what you're excited that maybe Jensen could say today. What are you excited about? We'll go down the line. We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I think this is the AI era, very important. So back to us. When we are running such scale of global operation, we do need to leverage the new technology. Peter mentioned Omniverse, Scott mentioned about robots. So if you look at that, the Gen AI essentially require data, require computing power, require algorithm or AI model. So as the leading company for smart manufacturing in the world, I think Foxconn Group is driving. We collect all kind of manufacturing data. You know that, right? So second thing is we built gradually a lot of computing power from Kaohsiung. Now we have H100, H200, all implement there. Then move to Wisconsin, we have a V100, which was built in 2020. And also we have the computing power in China with H20. Then we are going to build, we already built the GB200, 4 racks in Kaohsiung for the R&D purpose. So going forward, we could even build more. Like, I think the Chairman Yang Liu, Foxconn Group, mentioned that we're going to build 64 racks in Kaohsiung as the initial one. And moving forward, probably you heard about that. Foxconn Group invests a lot in Houston. We're going to build more the computing power with GB200 or 300 in Houston to help us out. So with this, then we start to run the AI model algorithm. How are we going to make it? Again, Omniverse.
Got it.
Omniverse.
Yeah.
And any quick words, Peter?
Oh yes, I really want to share with everybody. Omniverse perception sensing capability really makes Omniverse not just people thinking virtual side. but connect to a real site very closely. And from the what we try to challenge, overcome, for example, the computation powers that we require from the traditional robot to cooperative robot, cognitive robot with sensing, like Scott mentioned, and also humanoid robot-like. Why? Because the automation last mile still using a lot of human operations with high skill. That still needs a lot of help. But thanks to Omnibus, again, there is a very high degree of freedom, human models that can really helpful for this. So again, thanks to NVIDIA's computation powers, we can do not only the cloud, but also the edge, but also embodied that not only agentic, but also physical AI. And thanks to everybody again, hope we can fight for a better future. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
So actually, the next generation in the future for the COBA, right? Reasoning and planning is very important. Now it's so currently we use the Omnibus, the Cosmos.
Yep.
But as I said, so the foundation model, like the CoolMotion, that's a foundation model, and we are use, and we also generate the synthetic data, SMG. Now we are trying, and we are modify the AI model currently. So we hope in near future we will have more capability for example, reasoning and planning for the COBOL.
I think you will. I think you will. Thanks a lot. Thanks to all of you for joining us. That was great. Well, what a great session. So Brady, you're a local AI expert and Foundry. What did you think about what was going on, what you heard today?
Yeah, I think it's a critical point, especially in Taiwan, because we are the center of the chip productions and also system productions, and a lot of robot vendors are working with NVIDIA. So I think it's a good opportunity for Taiwanese companies to start in the robotics industry. Yeah. And Ben, how about you? Being a respected AI research analyst in the world of finance, what stood out to you?
I think, Brady, I'm really impressed by how fast people are moving in Taiwan, all these partners, and what it takes from NVIDIA's side to integrate all these partners, manage all these relationships, and move at this speed, and then bring along all these partners who are moving really fast as well. You can see it with Dell and Asus and Quanta and all the folks we spoke to are moving so fast. I've never seen it like this in order to keep up with Jensen's speed of light. And it's amazing. And I'm really looking forward to what he says today. And I think this community here in Taiwan I can feel it after being here a few days. It's so strong in terms of the pride in what NVIDIA is doing and the desire to work with this company. It's very impressive. And I think that today what is really clear is that he's a very strong ecosystem here in Taiwan and both globally, and everybody's looking forward to what he has to say to drive the industry forward. We were lucky enough to hear a lot about robotics today, which is one of the next frontiers, but there's a lot of other things I think he's going to say, and it's going to pull this whole island forward, and it's really exciting to see.
Yes.
So I wanted to also just say thank you all for joining us here at NVIDIA GTC Live at COMPUTEX. The countdown is on to Jensen's keynote. It's coming up really soon. And as you see, people are still filing in. So we got to get to our seats, and Brady and I got to get moving.
Thanks for watching. I can't wait to see the keynote from Jensen.
智慧就是这样制成的。一种新型的工厂，制造 tokens， 人工智慧的基石。tokens 开拓了一个新领域，带人们步入非凡世界，孕育无限的可能。tokens 将图像化为科学数据，描绘宇宙天文，引领未来的探索者。在地球上，它复印我们的城市，帮助我们克服今日的困难。tokens 揭发物理定律，让我们更快抵达目的地。并且不断向前。tokens 可以提前发现疾病的征兆，助我们揭开生命的奥秘。他们研究人体动作，协助我们达到最佳状态，还将现实带入虚拟世界。他们助我们精进技能。
有瑕疵的电路板在右边，需要我帮你拿去修理吗？
好的，谢谢。
tokens 不仅教会机器人如何行动，还给世界带来欢乐。
请把这些送到护理站，
为我们提供助力。应让美好生活触手可及。让我们携手并进，勇敢探索人类未曾想象的可能。这一切都从这里开始。
女士们、先生们，欢迎 NVIDIA 创办人暨执行长黄仁勋先生。
Welcome to the stage, NVIDIA founder and CEO, Jensen Huang.
It's great to be here. My parents are also in the audience. 我爸妈妈来，他们在哪里？ They're up there. NVIDIA has been coming to Taiwan for over 30 years. This is the home of many of our treasured partners and dear friends. Over the years, you have seen NVIDIA grow up and seen us accomplish many exciting things and have been partnered with me all along the way. Today, we're going to talk about where we are in the industry, where we're going to go, announce some new products, exciting new products and surprising products that open new markets for us, creates new markets, new growth. We're going to talk about great partners and how we're going to develop this ecosystem together. As you know, we are at the epicenter of the computer ecosystem, one of the most important industries of the world. And so it stands to reason when new markets has to be created, we have to create it starting here at the center of the computer ecosystem. And I have some surprises for you, things that you probably wouldn't have guessed. And then, of course, I promise I'll talk about AI. And we'll talk about robotics. The NVIDIA story is the reinvention of the computer industry. In fact, the NVIDIA story is also the reinvention of our company. As I said, I've been coming here for 30 years. Many of you have been through many of my keynotes. Some of you, all of them. And just as you reflect on the conversation, the things we talked about in the last 30 years, how dramatic we changed. We started out as a chip company with a goal of creating a new computing platform. And in 2006, we introduced CUDA, which has revolutionized how computing is done. In 2016, 10 years later, we realized that a new computing approach has arrived. And this new computing approach requires a reinvention of every single layer of the technology stack. The processor is new. The software stack is new. It stands to reason the system is new. And so we invented a new system that on the day I announced it at GTC 2006, no one understood what I was talking about, and nobody gave me a PO. That system was called DGX-1. DGX-1, I donated the first one to a nonprofit company called OpenAI. And it started the AI revolution. Years later, we realized that in fact, this new way of doing software, which is now called artificial intelligence, is unlike traditional ways of running software. Whereas many applications ran on a few processors in a large data center, we call that hyperscale. This new type of application requires many processors working together, serving queries for millions of people. And that data center would be architected fundamentally different. We realized there were two types of networks. One for north-south, because you still have to control the storage, you still have to have a control plane, you still have to connect to the outside. But the most important network was going to be east-west. The computers talking to each other to try to solve a problem. We recognized the best networking company in east-west traffic for high-performance computing, large-scale distributed processing, a company that was very dear to our company and very close to our heart, a company called Mellanox, and we bought them 5 years ago, 2019. We converted an entire data center into one computing unit. And you heard me say before, the modern computer is an entire data center. The data center is a unit of computing. No longer just a PC, no longer just a server. The entire data center is running one job. And the operating system would change. NVIDIA's data center journey is now very well known. Over the last 3 years, you've seen some of the ideas that we're shaping and how we are starting to see our company differently. No company in history, surely no technology company in history, has ever revealed a roadmap for 5 years at a time. No one would tell you what is coming next. They keep it as a secret, extremely confidential. However, we realized that NVIDIA is not a technology company only anymore. In fact, we are an essential infrastructure company. And how can you plan your infrastructure, your land, your shell, your power, your electricity, all of the necessary financing around all over the world? How would you possibly do that if you didn't understand what I was going to make? And so we described our company's roadmap in fair detail, enough detail that everybody in the world can go off and start building data centers. We realize now we are an AI infrastructure company. An infrastructure company that's essential all around the world. Every region, every industry, every company will build these infrastructures. And what are these infrastructure? These infrastructure, in fact, not unlike the first industrial revolution, when people realized, GE, Westinghouse, Siemens, realized that there was a new type of technology called electricity, and new infrastructure has to be built all around the world. And these infrastructure became essential part of social infrastructure. That infrastructure is now called electricity. Years later, this is during all of our generation, we realized there was a new type of infrastructure. And this new infrastructure was very conceptual, very hard to understand. And this infrastructure called information. This information infrastructure, the first time it was described, made no sense to anybody. But we now realized it is the internet. And every internet is everywhere, and everything is connected to it. Well, there's a new infrastructure now. This new infrastructure is built on top of the first two. And this new infrastructure is an infrastructure of intelligence. I know that right now, when we say there's an intelligence infrastructure, it makes no sense. But I promise you, in 10 years' time, you will look back and you will realize that AI has now integrated into everything. And in fact, we need AI everywhere. And every region, every industry, every country, every company, all needs AI. AI has now part of infrastructure. And this infrastructure, just like the internet, just like electricity, needs factories. And these factories are essentially what we build today. They're not data centers of the past, a $1 trillion industry providing information and storage, supporting all of our ERP systems and our employees. That's a data center of the past. This is similar in the sense that it came from the same industry. It came from all of us, but it's going to emerge as something completely different, completely separated from the world's data center. And these AI data centers, if you will, are improperly described. They are, in fact, AI factories. You apply energy to it, and it produces something incredibly valuable. And these things are called tokens. To the point where companies are starting to talk about how many tokens they produced last quarter and how many tokens they produced last month. Very soon, we'll be talking about how many tokens we produce every hour, just as every single factory does. And so the world has fundamentally changed. We went from a company, on the day that we started our company, I was trying to figure out how big our opportunity was in 1993. And I came to the conclusion, NVIDIA's business opportunity was enormous. $300 million. We're going to be rich. $300 million chip industry to a data center opportunity that represents about $1 trillion to now an AI factory, an AI infrastructure industry that will be measured in trillions of dollars. And this is the exciting future that we're undertaking. Now, at its core, everything we do is founded on several important technologies. Of course, I talk about accelerated computing a great deal. I talk about AI a great deal. What makes NVIDIA really special is the fusion of these capabilities. And very especially, the algorithms, the libraries, what we call the CUDA-X libraries. We're talking about libraries all the time. And in fact, we're the only technology company in the world that talks about libraries nonstop. And the reason for that is because libraries is at the core of everything that we do. Libraries is what started it all. And I'm going to show you a few new ones today. But before I do that, let me show you a preview of what I'm going to tell you today. Everything you're about to see is simulation, science, and artificial intelligence. Nothing you see here is art. It's all simulation. It just happens to be beautiful. Let's take a look. This is real-time computer graphics I'm standing in front of. This is not a video, this is computer graphics. It's generated by GeForce. This is a brand new GeForce 5060, RTX 5060. And this is from ASUS. My good friend Johnny is in the front row. And this is from MSI. And we took this incredible GPU and we shrunk it in here. Does that make any sense? See, this is incredible. And so this is MSI's new laptop with 5060 in it. GeForce brought CUDA to the world. Right now what you're seeing is every single pixel is ray traced. How is that possible that we're able to simulate photon and deliver this kind of frame rate at this resolution? Well, the reason for that is artificial intelligence. We're only rendering 1 out of 10 pixels. So every pixel that you see, only 1 out of 10 is actually computed. The other 9, AI guessed. Does that make any sense? And it's perfect. It's completely perfect. It guessed it perfectly. Of course, the technology is called DLSS, neural rendering. It took us many, many years to develop. We started developing it the moment we started working on AI, so it's been a 10-year journey. And the advance in computer graphics has been completely revolutionized by AI. GeForce brought AI to the world. Now AI came back and revolutionized GeForce. So really, really amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, GeForce. You know, when you're CEO, you have many children. And GeForce brought us here. And now all of our keynotes is 90% not GeForce. But it's not because we don't love GeForce. GeForce RTX 50 series just had its most successful launch ever, the fastest launch in our history. And PC gaming is now 30 years old. So that tells you something about how incredible GeForce is. Let's talk about libraries. At the core, of course, everything starts with CUDA. And by making CUDA as performant as possible, as pervasive as possible, so that the install base is all over the world, then applications can find a CUDA GPU quite easily. The larger the install base, the more developers want to create libraries. The more libraries, more amazing things are done, better applications, more benefits to users, they buy more computers. The more computers, more CUDA. That feedback path is vitally important. However, accelerated computing is not general purpose computing. General purpose computing writes software, everybody writes it in, Python or C, and you compile it. The methodology for general purpose computing is consistent throughout. Write the application, compile the application, run it on a CPU. However, that fundamentally doesn't work in accelerated computing, because if you could do that, it would be called a CPU. What's the point of not just changing the CPU so you could write the software, compile the software, run it on a CPU? The fact that you would have to do something different is actually quite sensible. And the reason for that is because so many people worked on general purpose computing, trillions of dollars of innovation. How is it possible that all of a sudden a few widgets inside a chip and all of a sudden computers become 50 times faster, 100 times faster? That makes no sense. And so the logic that we applied is that we could accelerate applications if you understood more about it. You can accelerate applications if you were to create an architecture that are better suited to accelerate, to run at the speed of light, 99% of the runtime, and just even though it's only 5% of the code, which is quite surprising. Most applications, small parts of the code consumes most of the runtime. We made that observation, and so we went after one domain after another. I just showed you computer graphics. We also have numerics. This is CuPy numeric. This is CuPy is the most pervasive numerical library. Arial and Shona. Arial is the world's first GPU accelerated radio signal processing for 5G and 6G. Once we make it software defined, then we can put on top of it AI. So now we could bring AI to 5G and 6G. Parabricks for genomics analysis, MO9 for medical imaging, Earth-2 for weather prediction, cuQuantum for quantum classical computer architectures and computer systems, cuequivariance and cuTensor, contraction of tensor mathematics, Megatron. This whole row, this whole column here consists of all of our deep learning and all of our libraries necessary for training as well as inference for deep learning. This revolutionized computing. And it all started with all these libraries. Not just CUDA, but cuDNN. On top of cuDNN, there was Megatron. Megatron, then TensorRT-LLM, and then now lately, this brand new operating system for large AI factories, Dynamo. cuDF for data frames like Spark and SQL. Structured data can be accelerated as well. cuML, classical machine learning. Warp, a Pythonic framework for describing CUDA kernels, incredibly successful. cuOpt, mathematical operations, optimizations, things like traveling salesperson, the ability to optimize highly constrained, large number of variables, type of problems like supply chain optimization. This is an incredible success. I'm very excited about cuOpt, cuDSS and cuSparse for sparse structure simulators. Those are used for CAE and CAD, fluid dynamics. finite element analysis, incredibly important for EDAs and CAE industry. And then, of course, cuLitho, one of the most important libraries for computational lithography. Mask making could easily take a month. And that mask making process is extremely computationally intensive. And now with cuLitho, we could accelerate that computation by 50 times, 70 times. As a result, this is going to set the stage, open the world for applying AI to lithography in the future. We have great partners here. TSMC is using cuLitho quite extensively. ASML, Synopsys, excellent partners working with us in cuLitho. So the libraries themselves is what makes it possible for us, one domain of application after another domain of science, after another domain of physics, to be able to accelerate those applications. But it also opens up markets for us. We look at particular regions and particular markets and we say, that area could really be important to transform to the new way of doing computing. If general purpose computing, after all these years, has run its course, why hasn't it run its course in every single industry? So one of the most important industries, of course, is telecommunications. Just as the world's cloud data centers have now become software-defined, it stands to reason that telecommunication should also be software-defined. And so that's the reason why we've taken now some 6 years to refine and optimize a fully accelerated radio access network, RAN stack, that does incredible performance. For data rate per megawatt, or data rate per watt, we are now on par with the state-of-the-art ASICs. And so once we could do that, once we could achieve that level of performance and functionality, then after that we can layer on top AI. And so we have great partners here. You could see SoftBank and T-Mobile, Indosat and Vodafone are doing trials. Nokia, Samsung, Kyocera are working with us on the full stack. Fujitsu and Cisco are working on the systems. And so now we have the ability to introduce the idea of AI on 5G or AI on 6G along with AI on computing. We're doing that with quantum computing. Quantum computing is still at the noisy, intermediate scale quantum, called NISQ. However, there are many, many good applications we could already start to do. And so we're excited about that. We're working on a quantum classical or quantum GPU computing platform. We call it CUDA-Q, working with amazing companies around the world. GPUs could be used for pre-processing and post-processing, for error correction, for control. And so in the future, I predict that all supercomputers will have quantum accelerators, all have quantum QPUs connected to it. And so a supercomputer would be a QPU with QPUs and GPUs and some CPUs. And that would be the representation of a modern computer. So working with a lot of great companies in this area. AI. 12 years ago, we started with perception. AI models that can understand patterns, recognize speech, recognize images. That was the beginning. The last 5 years, we've been talking about generative AI, the ability for AI to not just understand, but to generate. And so it could generate from text to text. We use that all the time in ChatGPT. Text to images, text to video, video to text, images to text. Almost anything to anything, which is the really amazing thing about AI, that we've discovered a universal function approximator, a universal translator. It can translate from anything to anything else if we can simply tokenize it, represent the bits of information. Well, now we have reached a level of AI that's really important. Generative AI gave us one-shot AI. You give it text and it gives you text back. That was 2 years ago when we first engaged ChatGPT. That was the big, amazing breakthrough. You give it text and it gives you text back. It predicts the next word, predicts the next paragraph. However, intelligence is much more than just what you've learned from a lot of data that you've studied. Intelligence includes the ability to reason, to be able to solve problems that you've not seen before, to break it down step by step, to maybe apply some rules and theorems to solve a problem you've never seen, to be able to simulate multiple options and weigh its benefits. Some of the technology you might have heard about, chain of thought, breaking it down step by step, tree of thought, coming up a whole bunch of paths. All of these technologies are leading the ability for AI to be able to reason. Now, the amazing thing is, once you have the ability to reason, and you have the ability to perceive, that is, let's say, multimodal read PDFs, you could do search, you can use tools, you have now agentic AI. This agentic AI just does something that I've just described all of us do. We're given a goal, we break it down step by step, we reason about what to do, what's the best way to do it, we consider its consequences, and then we start executing the plan. The plan might include doing some research, might include doing some work, using some tools. It might include reaching out to another AI agent to collaborate with it. Agentic AI is basically understand, think, and act. Well, understand, think, and act is the robotics loop. Agentic AI is basically a robot in a digital form. These are going to be really important in the coming years. We're seeing enormous progress in this area. The next wave, beyond that, is physical AI. AI that understands the world. They understand things like inertia, friction, cause and effect. That if I roll a ball and it goes under a car, depending on the speed of the ball, it probably went to the other side of the car. But the ball did not disappear. Object permanence. You might be able to reason that if there's a table in front of you and you have to go to the other side, the best way to do it is not to go right through it. The best way is maybe go around it or underneath it. To be able to reason about these physical things is really essential to the next era of AI. We call that physical AI. And so in this particular case, you're seeing us simply prompt the AI and it generates videos to train a self-driving car in different scenarios, and I'll show you more of that later. That's a dog. It said, generate me a dog, generate me one with a bird, with people. And it started out with the image on the left. And then the phase after that, we take reasoning systems, generative systems, physical AI, and this level of capability would now go into a physical embodiment, we call it a robot. If you could imagine that you can prompt an AI to generate a video to reach and pick up a bottle, of course you could imagine telling a robot to reach out and pick up the bottle. The AI capability today has the ability to do those things. Well, the computer that's where we're going in the near future. The computer that we're building to make this possible has properties that are very different than the previous. The revolutionary computer called Hopper came into the world about 3 years ago, and it revolutionized AI as we know it. It became probably the most popular, most well-known computer in the world. In the last several years, we've been working on a new computer to make it possible for us to do inference time scaling, or basically thinking incredibly fast. Because when you think, you're generating a lot of tokens in your head, if you will. You're generating a lot of thoughts, and you iterate in your brain before you produce the answer. So what used to be one-shot AI is now going to be thinking AI, reasoning AI, inference time scaling AI. And that's going to take a lot more computation. And so we created a new system called Grace Blackwell. Grace Blackwell does several things. It has the ability to scale up. Scale up means to turn what is a computer into a giant computer. Scale out is to take a computer and connect many of them together and let the work be done in many different computers. Scaling out is easy. Scaling up is incredibly hard. Building larger computers that is beyond the limits of semiconductor physics is insanely hard. And that's what Grace Blackwell does. Grace Blackwell broke just about everything. And all of you in the audience, many of you are partnering with us to build Grace Blackwell systems. I'm so happy to say that we're in full production, but we can also say it was incredibly challenging. Although the Blackwell systems based on HGX has been in full production since the end of last year and has been available since February. We are now just putting online all the Grace Blackwell systems. They're coming online all over the place every single day. It's available in CoreWeave now for several weeks. It's already being used by many CSPs. And now you're starting to see it coming up from everywhere. Everybody's starting to tweet out that Grace Blackwell is in full production. In Q3 of this year, just as I promised, every single year, we will increase the performance of our platform every single year like rhythm. And this year, in Q3, we'll upgrade to Grace Blackwell GB300. The GB300 will increase the same architecture, same physical footprint, same electrical and mechanicals, but the chips inside have been upgraded. It has upgraded with a new Blackwell chip. It's now 1.5 times more inference performance, has 1.5 times more HBM memory, and it has 2 times more networking. And so the overall system performance is higher. Well, let's take a look at what's inside Grace Blackwell. Grace Blackwell starts with this compute node. This compute node right here, this is one of the compute nodes. This is what the last generation looks like, the B200. This is what B300 looks like. Notice right here in the center, it's 100% liquid cooled now, but otherwise, externally, it's the same. You could plug it into the same systems and same chassis. And so this is the Grace Blackwell GB300 system. It's 1.5 times more inference performance. The training performance is about the same, but the inference performance is 1.5 times more. Now this particular system here is 40 petaflops, which is approximately the performance of the Sierra supercomputer in 2018. The Sierra supercomputer has 18,000 GPUs, Volta GPUs. This one node here replaces that entire supercomputer. 4,000 times increase in performance in 6 years. That is extreme Moore's law. Remember, I've said before that AI, NVIDIA has been scaling computing by about 1 million times every 10 years. And we're still on that track. But the way to do that is not just to make the chips faster. There's only a limit to how fast you can make chips and how big you can make chips. In the case of Blackwell, we even connected 2 chips together to make it possible. TSMC worked with us to invent a new CoWoS process called CoWoS-L that made it possible for us to create these giant chips. But still, we want chips way bigger than that. And so we had to create what is called NVLink. This is the world's fastest switch. This NVLink here, right here, is 7.2 terabytes per second. 9 of these go into that rack. And those 9 switches are connected by this miracle. This is quite heavy. That's because I'm quite strong. I made it look so light, but this is 70 pounds. And so this is the NVLink spine. 2 miles of cables, 5,000 cables structured, all coaxed, impedance matched, and it connects all 72 GPUs to all of the other 72 GPUs across this network called NVLink switch. 130 terabytes per second of bandwidth across the NVLink spine. So just put in perspective, the peak traffic of the entire internet, is 900 terabits per second. Divide that by 8. This moves more traffic than the entire internet. 1 NVLink spine across this 9 of these NVLink switches, so that every single GPU can talk to every other GPU at exactly the same time. This is the miracle of GB200. And because there's a limit to how far you can drive SerDes, this is as far as any SerDes has ever driven. From chip, this goes chip to the switch, out to the spine, to any other switch, any other chip, all electrical. And so that limit caused us to put everything in one rack. And that one rack is 120 kilowatts, which is the reason why everything has to be liquid cooled. We now have the ability to disaggregate the GPUs out of one motherboard, essentially, across an entire rack. And so that entire rack is one motherboard. That's the miracle. Completely disaggregated, and now the GPU performance is incredible, the amount of memory is incredible, the networking bandwidth is incredible, and now we can really scale these out. Once we scale it up, then we can scale it out into large systems. And notice almost everything NVIDIA builds are gigantic. And the reason for that is because we're not building data centers and servers, we're building AI factories. This is CoreWeave. This is Oracle Cloud. The power density of each rack is so great. They have to put them further apart so that the power density could be distributed. But really, in the end, we're not building data centers, we're building AI factories. And this is the XAI, Colossus factory. This is Stargate. 4 million square feet, 4 million square feet, 1 gigawatt. And so just think about this factory here. This 1 gigawatt factory is probably going to be about, 60 to 80 billion dollars. Out of that 60 to 80 billion dollars, the electronics, the computing part of it, these systems are 40, 50 billion dollars of it. And so these are gigantic factory investments. The reason why people build factories is because you know the answer. The more you buy, say it with me. The more you buy, the more you make. That's what factories do. Okay. The technology is so complicated. And in fact, just looking at it here, you still cannot get the deep appreciation of the amazing work that's being done in all of our partners and all of the companies here in the audience in Taiwan. And so we made you a movie. I made you a movie. Take a look. Blackwell is an engineering marvel. It begins as a blank silicon wafer at TSMC. Hundreds of chip processing and ultraviolet lithography steps build up each of the 200 billion transistors, layer by layer on a 12-inch wafer. The wafer is scribed into individual Blackwell die, tested and sorted, separating the good dies to move forward. The chip-on-wafer on substrate process, done at TSMC, SPIL, and Amkor, attaches 32 Blackwell dies and 128 HBM stacks on a custom silicon interposer wafer. Metal interconnect traces are etched directly into it, connecting Blackwell GPUs and HBM stacks into each system and package unit, locking everything into place. Then the assembly is baked, molded, and cured, creating the Blackwell B200 superchip. At KYEC, each Blackwell is stress tested in ovens at 125 degrees Celsius and pushed to its limits for several hours. Back at Foxconn, robots work around the clock to pick and place over 10,000 components onto the Grace Blackwell PCB. Meanwhile, additional components are being prepared at factories across the globe. Custom liquid cooling copper blocks from Cooler Master, AVC, Aorus, and Delta keep the chips at optimal temperatures. At another Foxconn facility, ConnectX-7 SuperNICs are built to enable scale-out communications, and Bluefield 3 DPUs to offload and accelerate networking, storage, and security tasks. All these parts converge to be carefully integrated into GB200 compute trays. NVLink is the breakthrough high-speed link that NVIDIA invented to connect multiple GPUs and scale up into a massive virtual GPU. The NVLink switch tray is constructed with NVLink switch chips, providing 14.4 terabytes per second of all-to-all bandwidth. NVLink spines form a custom blind-mated backplane, integrating 5,000 copper cables to deliver 130 terabytes per second of all-to-all bandwidth. This connects all 72 Blackwells, or 144 GPU dies, into one giant GPU. From around the world, parts arrive. From Foxconn, Wistron, Quanta, Dell, Asus, Gigabyte, HPE, Supermicro, and other partners to be assembled by skilled technicians into a rack-scale AI supercomputer. In total, 1.2 million components, 2 miles of copper cable, 130 trillion transistors, weighing 1,800 kilograms. From the first transistor etched into a wafer to the last bolt fastening the Blackwell rack, every step carries the weight of our partners' dedication, precision, and craft. Blackwell is more than a technological wonder. It's a testament to the marvel of the Taiwan technology ecosystem. We couldn't be prouder of what we've achieved together. Thank you, Taiwan.
Thank you. Thank you. That was pretty incredible, right? But that was you. That was you. Thank you. Well, Taiwan doesn't just build supercomputers for the world. Today, I'm very happy to announce that we're also building AI for Taiwan. And so today we're announcing that Foxconn, Taiwan, the Taiwanese government, NVIDIA, TSMC, we're going to build the first giant AI supercomputer here for the AI infrastructure and the AI ecosystem of Taiwan. Thank you. Is there anybody who needs an AI computer? Any AI researchers in the audience? Every single student, every researcher, every scientist, every startup, every large established company, TSMC themselves does enormous amounts of AI and scientific research already. And so Foxconn does an enormous amount of work in robotics. I know that there are many other companies in the audience, I'm going to mention you in just a second, that are doing robotics research and AI research. And so having a world-class AI infrastructure here in Taiwan is really important. All of that is so that we could build a very large chip. And NVLink and Blackwell, this generation, made it possible for us to create these incredible systems. Here's one from Pegatron and QCT and Wistron and WeWin. This is from Foxconn and Gigabyte and Asus. And you could see the front and the back of it. And its entire goal is to take these Blackwell chips that are, you could see how big they are, and turn it into one massive chip. Now, the ability to do that, of course, was made possible by NVLink. But it understates the complexity of the system architecture, the rich software ecosystem that connects it all together, the entire ecosystem of 150 companies that came together to build this. This architecture and the entire ecosystem in technology, in software, in industry has been the work of 3 years. This is a massive industrial investment. And now, we would like to make it possible for anybody who wants to build data centers. It could be a whole bunch of NVIDIA GB200s or 300s and accelerated computing systems from NVIDIA. It could be somebody else. And so today, we're announcing something very special. We're announcing NVIDIA NVLink Fusion. NVLink Fusion is so that you can build semi-custom AI infrastructure. Not just semi-custom chips, because those are the good old days. You want to build AI infrastructure. And everybody's AI infrastructure could be a little different. Some of you could have a lot more CPUs, and some of it could have a lot more NVIDIA GPUs, and some of it could be somebody's semi-custom ASICs. And those systems are so insanely hard to build. And they're all missing this one incredible ingredient. This incredible ingredient called NVLink. NVLink so that you could scale up these semi-custom systems and build really powerful computers. And so today we're announcing the NVLink Fusion. NVLink Fusion kind of works like this. This is the NVIDIA platform, 100% NVIDIA. You got NVIDIA CPU, NVIDIA GPU, the NVLink switches, the networking from NVIDIA called Spectrum-X or InfiniBand, NICs, network interconnects, switches, and all of the entire system, the entire infrastructure built end to end. Now, of course, you can mix and match it if you like. And we now today make it possible for you to mix and match it even at the compute level. This would be what you would do using your custom ASIC. And we have great partners I'll announce in a second who are working with us to integrate your special TPU or your special ASIC, your special accelerator. And it doesn't have to be just a transformer accelerator. It could be an accelerator of any kind that you would like to integrate into a large scale-up system. We create an NVLink chiplet. It's basically a switch that abuts right up to your chip. There's IP that will be available to integrate into your semi-custom ASIC. And then once you do that, it fits right into the compute boards that I mentioned, and it fits into this ecosystem of an AI supercomputer that I've shown you. Now, maybe what you would like is you would like to use your own CPU. You've been building your own CPU for some time, and maybe your CPU has built a very large ecosystem, and you would like to integrate NVIDIA into your ecosystem. And now we make it possible for you to do that. You could do that by building your custom CPU. We provide you with our NVLink chip-to-chip interface into your ASIC. We connect it with NVLink chiplets, and now it connects and directly abuts into the Blackwell chips and our next generation Rubin chips. And again, it fits right into this ecosystem. This incredible body of work now becomes flexible and open for everybody to integrate into. And so your AI infrastructure could have some NVIDIA, a lot of yours. A lot of yours, you know, and a lot of CPUs, a lot of ASICs, maybe a lot of NVIDIA GPUs as well. And so in any case, you have the benefit of using the NVLink infrastructure and the NVLink ecosystem, and it's connected perfectly to Spectrum-X. And all of that, you know, is industrial strength and has the benefit of an enormous ecosystem of industrial partners who have already made it possible. So this is the NVLink Fusion. Whether you buy completely from us, that's fantastic. Nothing gives me more joy than when you buy everything from NVIDIA. I just want you guys to know that. But it gives me tremendous joy if you just buy something from NVIDIA. And so we have some great partners. L-Chip, Astera Labs, Marvell, and one of our great partners, MediaTek, are going to be partnering with us to work with ASIC or semi-custom customers, hyperscalers, who would like to build these things, or CPU vendors who would like to build these things, and they would be their semi-custom ASIC provider. We also have Fujitsu and Qualcomm who are building their CPUs with NVLink to integrate into our ecosystem. And Cadence and Synopsys, we've worked with them to transfer our IP to them so that they can work with all of you and make that IP available to all of your chips. So this ecosystem is incredible, but this just highlights the NVLink Fusion ecosystem. Once you work with them, you instantly get integrated into the entire larger NVIDIA ecosystem that makes it possible for you to scale up into these AI supercomputers. Now let me talk to you about some new product categories. As you know, I've shown you a couple of different computers. However, in order to serve the vast majority of the world, there are still some computers that are missing. And so I'm going to talk about them. But before I do that, I want to give you an update that, in fact, this new computer we call DGX Spark is in full production. DGX Spark will be ready, will be available shortly, probably in a few weeks. We have tremendous partners working with us: Dell, HPI, ASUS, MSI, Gigabyte, Lenovo. Incredible partners working with us. And this is the DGX Spark. This is actually a production unit. This is our version. This is our version. However, our partners are building a whole bunch of different versions. This is designed for AI native developers. If you're a developer, you're a student, you're a researcher, and you don't want to keep opening up the cloud and getting it prepared, and then when you're done scrubbing it, okay? But you would just like to have your own, basically your own AI cloud sitting right next to you, and it's always on, always waiting for you. It allows you to do your prototyping, early development, and this is what's amazing. This is DGX Spark. It's 1 petaflops and 128 gigabytes. In 2016, when I delivered DGX1, this is just the bezel. I can't lift the whole computer. It's 300 pounds. This is DGX1. This is 1 petaflops and 128 gigabytes. Of course, this is 128 gigabytes of HBM memory, and this is 128 gigabytes of LPDDR5X. The performance is, in fact, quite similar. But what's most important is that the work that you could work on this is the same work you could do here. It's an incredible achievement over just the course of about 10 years. Okay, so this is DGX Spark for anybody who would like to have their own AI supercomputer. And it's, I'll let all of our partners price it for themselves, but one thing for sure, everybody can have one for Christmas. Okay, I've got another computer I want to show you. If that's not enough, and you would still like to have your own personal, thank you, Janine. This is Janine Paul, ladies and gentlemen. If that one isn't big enough for you, here's one. This is another desk side. This is also going to be available from Dell and HPI, ASUS, Gigabyte, MSI, Lenovo. It'll be available from Box, from Lambda, amazing workstation companies. And this is going to be your own personal DGX supercomputer. This computer is the most performance you can possibly get out of a wall socket. You could put this in your kitchen, but just barely. If you put this in your kitchen and then somebody runs the microwave, I think that's the limit. And so this is the limit. This is the limit of what you can get out of a wall outlet. And this is a DGX station. The programming model of this and the giant systems that I showed you are the same. That's the amazing thing. One architecture, and this has the ability, enough capacity and performance to run a 1 trillion parameter AI model. Remember, Llama is Llama 70B. A 1 trillion parameter model is going to run wonderfully on this machine. Okay, so that's the DGX station. So now let's talk about, remember these systems are, thank you, Janine. These systems are AI natives. They're AI native computers. They're computers built for this new generation of software. It doesn't have to be x86 compatible. It doesn't have to run traditional IT software. It doesn't have to run hypervisors. It doesn't have to run it doesn't have to run Windows. These computers are designed for the modern AI native applications. Of course, these AI applications could be APIs that can be called upon by the traditional and the classical applications. But in order for us to bring AI into a new world, and this new world is enterprise IT, we have to go back to our roots, and we have to reinvent computing and bring AI into traditional enterprise computing. Now, enterprise computing, as we know, is really 3 layers. It's not just the computing layer. It's compute, storage, and networking. It's always compute, storage, and networking. And just as AI has changed everything, it stands to reason that AI must have changed compute, storage, and networking for enterprise IT as well. Well, that lower layer has to be completely reinvented, and we're in the process of doing that. I'm going to show you some new products that unlocks enterprise IT for us. It has to work with the traditional IT industry, and it has to add a new capability. And the new capability for enterprise is agentic AI. Basically, digital marketing campaign manager, a digital researcher, a digital software engineer, digital customer service, digital chip designer, digital supply chain manager, digital versions, AI versions of all of the work that we used to do. And as I mentioned earlier, agentic AI has the ability to reason, use tools, work with other AIs. So in a lot of ways, these are digital workers. They're digital employees. The world has a shortage of labor. We have a shortage of workers. By 2030, by about 30 to 50 million shortage. It's actually limiting the world's ability to grow. And so now we have these digital agents that can work with us. 100% of NVIDIA software engineers now have digital agents working with them so that they can help them, assist them in developing better code and more productively. And so in the future, you're going to have this layer, that's our vision. You're going to have a layer of agentic AIs, AI agents. And so what's going to happen to the world? What's going to happen to enterprise? Whereas we have HR for human workers, we're going to have IT becoming the HR of digital workers. And so we have to create the necessary tools for today's IT industry, today's IT workers, to be able to manage, improve, evaluate a whole family of AI agents that are working inside their company. And so that's the vision of what we want to build. But first, we have to reinvent computing. Remember what I said. Enterprise IT works on x86. It runs traditional software, such as hypervisors from VMware or IBM Red Hat or Nutanix. It runs a whole bunch of classical applications. And we need to have computers that do the same thing while it adds this new capability, called Agent AI. And so let's take a look at that. Okay, this is the brand new RTX Pro Enterprise and Omniverse server. This server can run everything. It has x86, of course. It can run all of the classical hypervisors. It runs Kubernetes in those hypervisors. So the way that your IT department wants to manage your network and how they want to manage your clusters and orchestrate workload works exactly the same way. It has the ability to even stream Citrix and what other virtual desktops to your PC. Everything that runs in the world today should run here. Omniverse runs on here perfectly. But in addition to that, this is the computer for enterprise AI agents. Those AI agents could be only text. Those AI agents could also be computer graphics. Little TJs, coming to you, little toy Jensens coming to see you, helping you do work. And so those AI agents could be either in text form, it could be in graphics form, it could be in video form. All of those workloads work on this system. No matter the modality, every single model that we know of in the world, every application that we know of should run on this. In fact, even Crysis works on here. Okay, so anybody who's a GeForce gamer? There are no GeForce gamer in the room. Okay, what connects these 8 GPUs, the new Blackwell RTX Pro 6000s, is this new motherboard. This new motherboard is actually a switched network. CX8 is a new category of chips. It's a switch first, networking chip second. It's also the most advanced networking chip in the world. This is now in volume production, CX8. In the CX8, you plug in the GPUs. The CX8s are in the back. PCI Express connected here. CX8 communicates between them. And the networking bandwidth is incredibly high at 800 gigabits per second. And this is the transceiver that plugs into here. So each one of these GPUs have their own networking interface. All of the GPUs are now communicating to all of the other GPUs on east-west traffic. Incredible performance. Now, the surprising part is this, how incredible it is. So this is RTX Pro. This is the performance, and I showed you guys at GTC how to think about performance in the world of AI factories. The way to think about this is throughput. This is tokens per second, which is the y-axis. The more output your factory, the more tokens you produce. Okay, so throughput is measured in tokens per second. However, every AI model is not the same. And some AI models require much more reasoning. And so you need those AI models, you need the performance per user to be very high. So the tokens per second per user has to be high. And this is the problem with factories. Factories either like to have high throughput or low latency, but it doesn't like to have both. And so the challenge is how to create an operating system that allows us to have high throughput, the y-axis, while having very low latency, which is the y-axis, interactivity, tokens per second per user. And so this chart tells you something about the overall performance of the computer, of the overall computers of the factory. Look at all of those different colors. It represents the different ways you have to configure all of our GPUs to achieve the performance. Sometimes you need pipeline parallelism. Sometimes you want expert parallelism. Sometimes you want a batch. Sometimes you want to do speculative decoding. Sometimes you don't. And so all of those different types of algorithms have to be applied separately and differently depending on the workload. And the Pareto, the outside area, the overall area of that curve represent the capability of your factory. Okay? And so notice something. Hopper is this is the most famous computer in the world, Hopper H100, the HGX, $225,000 Hopper is down there. And the Blackwell server you just saw, the enterprise server, is 1.7 times its performance. But this is amazing. This is Llama 70B. This is DeepSeek R1. DeepSeek R1 is 4 times. Now the reason for that, of course, the DeepSeek R1 has been optimized, and DeepSeek R1 is genuinely a gift to the world's AI industry. The amount of computer science breakthrough is really quite significant and has really opened up a lot of great research for researchers in the United States and around the world. Everywhere I go, DeepSeek R1 has made a real impact on how people think about AI and how think about inference and how to think about reasoning AIs. They've made a great contribution to the industry and to the world. And so this is DeepSeek R1. The performance is 4 times the state-of-the-art H100. That kind of puts it in perspective, okay? And so if you're building enterprise AI, we now have a great server for you. We now have a great system for you. It's a computer you could run anything on. It's a computer that has incredible performance. And it, you know, whether it's x86 or AI, all of it runs. Okay, our RTX Pro server is in volume production across all of our partners in the industry. This is likely the largest go-to market of any system we have ever taken to market. So thank you very much. The compute platform is different. The storage platform is different. And the reason for that is because humans query structured databases like SQL. People query structured databases like SQL. But AI wants to query unstructured data. They want semantic, they want meaning. And so we have to create a new type of storage platform. And this is the NVIDIA AI Data Platform. On top, just as SQL servers, SQL software, and file storage software from your storage vendors that you work with, there's a layer of very complicated software that goes with storage. Most storage companies, as you know, is mostly a software company. That software layer is incredibly complicated. And so on top of a new type of storage system is going to be a new query system we call IQ, NVIDIA AIQ or IQ. And it's really state-of-the-art, it's fantastic. And working with basically everybody in the storage industry. Your future storage is no longer CPUs sitting on top of a rack of storage. It's going to be GPUs sitting on top of a rack of storage. And the reason for that is because you need the system to embed, find the meaning in the data, in the unstructured data, in the raw data. You have to index, you have to do the search, and you have to do the ranking. So that process is very compute intensive. And so most storage servers in the future will have a GPU computing node in front of it. It's based on the models that we create. Almost everything that I'm about to show you starts with great AI models. We create AI models. We put a lot of energy and technology into post-training of open AI models. We post-train these AI models with data that is completely transparent to you. It is safe and secure data, and it's completely okay to use to train, and we make that list available to you to see. And so it's completely transparent. We make the data available to you. We post-train the models, and our post-trained model performance is really incredible. It's right now, downloadable open source reasoning model. The Llama Nemotron reasoning model is the world's best. It's been downloaded tremendously. And also, we also surround it with a whole bunch of other AI models so that you can do what is called IQ, the retrieval part of it. It's 15 times faster than what's available out there, 50% better query results. And so these models are available, all available to you. The IQ blueprint are open source. And we work with the storage industry to integrate these models into their storage stack, their AI platform. This is VAST. This is what it looks like. I'm not going to go into it. I just want to give you a texture of the AI models that are integrated into their platform. Let's take a look at what VAST has done.
Agentic AI changes how businesses use data to make decisions. In just 3 days, VAST built a sales research AI agent using the NVIDIA IQ blueprint and its accelerated AI data platform. Using Nemo Retriever, the platform continuously extracts, embeds, and indexes data for fast semantic search. First, the agent drafts an outline, then taps into CRM systems, multimodal knowledge bases, and internal tools. Finally, it uses Llama Nemotron to turn that outline into a step-by-step sales plan. Sales planning that took days
now starts with an AI prompt and ends with a plan in minutes. With VAST's accelerated AI data platform, organizations can create specialized agents for every employee. Okay, so that's VAST. Dell has a great AI platform, one of the world's leading storage vendors. Hitachi has a great AI platform, AI data platform. IBM is building an AI data platform with NVIDIA NeMo. NetApp is building an AI platform. As you could see, all of these are open to you. And if you're building an AI platform with a semantic query AI in front of it, NVIDIA NeMo is the world's best. Okay, so that gives you now compute for enterprise and storage for enterprise. The next part is a new layer of software called AI Ops. Just as supply chain has their ops and HR has their ops, in the future, IT will have AI ops. And they will curate data, they'll fine-tune the models, they'll evaluate the models, guardrail the models, secure the models, and we have a whole bunch of libraries and models necessary to integrate into the AI ops ecosystem. We got great partners to help us do that, to take it to market for us. CrowdStrike is working with us. Data IQ is working with us. Data Robots is working with us. You can see these are all AI operations creating fine-tuning models and deploying models for agentic AI in enterprise. And you could see NVIDIA libraries and models integrated all over it. So Data Robots, here's Data Stacks. This is Elastic. I think I heard somewhere that they're downloaded 400 billion times. This is Nutanix. This is Red Hat. This is Trend Micro here in Taiwan. I think I saw Eva earlier. Okay, hi Eva. Okay, weights and biases. Okay, and so that's it. This is how we're going to bring to the world's enterprise IT the ability to add AI to everything that you do. You're not going to rip out everything from IT, the enterprise IT organizations, because companies have to run. But we can add AI into it. And now we have systems that are enterprise ready with ecosystem partners, incredible ecosystem partners. I think I saw Jeff earlier. There's Jeff Clark, the great Jeff Clark. He's been coming to Taiwan for as long as I have been coming to Taiwan, and has been a partner of yours for a long time. So there's Jeff Clark. And so our ecosystem partners, Dell and others, are going to take this platform, these platforms, to the world's enterprise IT. Okay, let's talk about robots. So agentic AIs, AI agents, a lot of different ways to say it, agents are essentially digital robots. Reason for that is because a robot perceives, understands, and plans. And that's essentially what agents do. But we would like to build also physical robots. And these physical robots, first, it starts with the ability to learn to be a robot. The ability to learn to be a robot can't be done in the physical world productively. You have to create a virtual world where the robot can learn how to be a good robot. That virtual world has to obey the laws of physics. Most physics engines don't have the ability to, with fidelity, deal with rigid and soft body simulation. And so we partner with DeepMind, Google DeepMind, and Disney Research to build Newton, the world's most advanced physics engine. It's going to be open sourced in July. It's incredible what it can do. It's completely GPU accelerated. It's differentiable, so you could learn from experience. It is incredibly high fidelity. It's super real time. And so we could use that Newton engine, and it's integrated into Mujoko. It's integrated into NVIDIA's Isaac Sim. So irrespective of the simulation environment and framework you use. And so with that, we can bring these robots to life. doesn't want that? I want that. Can you imagine one of those little ones or a few of them running around the house, chasing your dogs, driving them crazy? And so, did you see what was happening? It wasn't an animation, it was a simulation. And he was slipping and sliding in the sand, in the dirt. All of it was simulated. The software of the robot is running in the simulation. And so it wasn't animated, it was simulated. And so in the future, we'll take the AI models that we train and we put it into that robot in simulation and let it learn how to be a great robot. Well, we're working on several things to help the robotics industry. Now, you know that we've been working in autonomous systems for some time. Our self-driving car basically has 3 systems. There's the system for creating the AI model, and that's GB200, GB300. It's going to be used for that, training the AI model. Then you have Omniverse for simulating the AI model. And then when you're done with that AI model, you put that model, the AI, into the self-driving car. Okay, this year we're deploying Mercedes around the world, our self-driving car stack, end-to-end stack. But we create all of this, and the way we go to market is exactly the same that we work everywhere else. We create the entire stack, we open the entire stack, and for our partners, they use whatever they want to use. They could use our computer and not our library. They could use our computer, our library, and also our runtime. However much you would like to use, it's up to you. Because there's a lot of different engineering teams and different engineering styles and different engineering capabilities. We want to make sure that we provide our technology in a way that makes it as easy as possible for everybody to integrate NVIDIA's technology. You know, like I said, I love it if you buy everything from me, but just please buy something from me. Okay. Very practical. And so we're doing exactly the same thing in robotic systems, just like cars. And so this is our Isaac GR00T platform. The simulation is exactly the same as Omniverse. The training system is the same. When you're done with the model, you put it inside this Isaac GR00T platform. And Isaac GR00T platform starts with a brand new computer called Jetson Thor. This is just started in production. It is an incredible processor. Basically, a robotic processor goes to self-driving cars, and it goes into a human or robotic system. On top is an operating system we call NVIDIA Isaac. The NVIDIA Isaac operating system is the runtime. It does all of the neural network processing, the sensor processing, pipelines all of it, and deliver actuated results. And then on top of it, pre-trained models that we created with an amazing robotics team that are pre-training these models. And all the tools necessary in creating this, we make available, including the model. And so today we're announcing that Isaac GR00T N1.5 is now open sourced. And it's open to the world to use. It's been downloaded 6,000 times already. And the popularity and the likes and the appreciation from the community is incredible. And so that's creating the model. We also open the way we created the model. The biggest challenge in robotics is, the biggest challenge in AI overall is, what is your data strategy? And your data strategy has to be, that's where a great deal of research and a great deal of technology goes into. In the case of robotics, human demonstration, just like we demonstrate to our children or a coach demonstrates to an athlete, you demonstrate using teleoperations. You demonstrate to the robot how to perform the task, and the robot can generalize from that demonstration, because AI can generalize and we have technology for generalization. You can generalize from that one demonstration other techniques, okay? And so what if you want to teach this robot a whole bunch of skills? How many different teleoperation people do you need? Well, it turns out to be a lot. And so what we decided to do was use AI to amplify the human demonstration systems. And so this is essentially going from real to real and using an AI to help us expand, amplify the amount of data that was collected during human demonstration to train an AI model. Let's take a look. The age of generalist robotics has arrived.
with breakthroughs in mechatronics, physical AI, and embedded computing. Just in time, as labor shortages limit worldwide industrial growth. A major challenge for robot makers is the lack of large-scale, real, and synthetic data to train models. Human demonstrations aren't scalable, limited by the number of hours in a day. Developers can use NVIDIA Cosmos physical AI World Foundation models to amplify data. Groot Dreams is a blueprint built on Cosmos for large-scale synthetic trajectory data generation, a reel-to-reel data workflow. First, developers fine-tune Cosmos with human demonstrations recorded by teleoperation of a single task in a single environment. Then, they prompt the model with an image and new instructions to generate dreams, or future world states. Cosmos is a generative model, so developers can prompt using new action words without having to capture new teleop data. Once a large number are generated, Cosmos reasons and evaluates the quality of each dream, selecting the best for training. But these dreams are still just pixels. Robots learn from actions. The Groot Dreams blueprint generates 3D action trajectories from the 2D dream videos. This is then used to train the robot model. Groot Dreams lets robots learn a huge variety of new actions with minimal manual captures. So a small team of human demonstrators can now do the work of thousands. Groot Dreams brings developers another step closer to solving the robot data challenge.
Is that great? So in order for robotics to happen, you need AI. But in order to teach the AI, you need AI. And so this is really the great thing about the era of agents, where we need a large amount of synthetic data generation, robotics, a large amount of synthetic data generation, and skill learning called fine-tuning, which is a lot of reinforcement learning, and enormous amount of compute. And so this is a whole era where the training of these AI, the development of these AI, as well as the running of the AI needs an enormous amount of compute. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the world has a severe shortage of labor. And the reason why humanoid robotics is so important is because it is the only form of robot that can be deployed almost anywhere brownfield. It doesn't have to be greenfield. It could fit into the world we created. It could do the tasks that we made for ourselves. We engineered the world for ourselves, and now we could create a robot that fit into that world to help us. Now, the amazing thing about human robotics is not just the fact that if it worked, it could be quite versatile. It is likely the only robot that is likely to work. And the reason for that is because technology needs scale. Most of the robotic systems we've had so far are too low volume. And those low volume systems will never achieve the technology scale to get the flywheel going far enough, fast enough, so that we're willing to dedicate enough technology into it to make it better. But humanoid robot, it is likely to be the next multi-trillion-dollar industry. And the technology innovation is incredibly fast. And the consumption of computing and data centers, enormous. But this is one of those applications that needs 3 computers. One computer is an AI for learning. One computer is a simulation engine where the AI can learn how to be a robot in a virtual environment, and then also the deployment of it. Everything that moves will be robotic. As we put these robots into the factories, remember, the factories are also robotic. Today's factories are so incredibly complex. This is Delta's manufacturing line, and they're getting it ready for a robotic future. It is already robotics and software defined, and now in the future there will be robots working in it. In order for us to create robots and design robots that operate as a fleet, as a team, working together in a factory that is also robotic, we have to give it omniverse to learn how to work together. And that digital twin, you now have a digital twin of the robot, you have a digital twin of all of the equipment, you're going to have digital twin of the factory. Those nested digital twins are going to be part of what Omniverse is able to do. This is Delta's digital twin. This is WeWin's digital twin. Now, while you're looking at this, if you look at it too closely, you think that it's in fact photographs. These are all digital twins. They're all simulations. They just look beautiful. The image just looks beautiful, but they're all digital twins. This is Pegatron's digital twin. This is Foxconn's digital twin. This is Gigabyte's digital twin. This is Quanta's. This is Wistron's. TSMC is building a digital twin of their next fab. As we speak, there are $5 trillion of plants being planned around the world. Over the next 3 years, $5 trillion of new plants. Because the world is reshaping, because reindustrialization moving around the world, new plants are being built everywhere. This is an enormous opportunity for us to make sure that they build it well and cost effectively and on time. And so putting everything into a digital twin is really a great first step and preparing it for a robotic future. In fact, building that $5 trillion doesn't include a new type of factory that we're building. And even our own factories, we put in a digital twin. This is the NVIDIA AI factory in a digital twin. Kaohsiung is a digital twin. They made Kaohsiung a digital twin. There are already hundreds of thousands of buildings, millions of miles of roads. And so, yes, Kaohsiung is a digital twin. Let's take a look at all of this. My entire keynote is your work. It's so excellent. Well, it stands to reason that Taiwan, at the center of the most advanced industry, the epicenter where AI and robotics is going to come from, it stands to reason that this is an extraordinary opportunity for Taiwan. This is also the largest electronics manufacturing region in the world. And so it stands to reason that AI and robotics will transform everything that we do. And so it's really quite extraordinary that for one of the first times in history, that the work you do has revolutionized every industry, and now it's going to come back to revolutionize yours. At the beginning, I said that GeForce brought AI to the world, and then AI came back and transformed GeForce. You brought AI to the world. AI will now come back and transform everything that you do. It's been a great pleasure working with all of you. Thank you. I have a new product. I announced several products already today, but I have a new product to announce. We've been building out in Space Dock for some time. And I think it's time for us to reveal one of the largest products that we've ever built. And it's parked outside waiting for us. Let's see how it goes. NVIDIA Constellation. NVIDIA Constellation. Well, as you know, we have been growing. And all of our partnerships with you have been growing. The number of engineers we have here in Taiwan have been growing. And so we are growing beyond the limits of our current office. And so I'm going to build them a brand new NVIDIA Taiwan office, and it's called NVIDIA Constellation. We've also been selecting the sites. And all of the mayors and all the different cities have been very kind to us, and I think we got some nice deals. I'm not sure. It seems quite expensive. But prime real estate is prime real estate. And so today, I'm very pleased to announce that NVIDIA Constellation will be at Beitou Shiling. We have negotiated the transfer of the lease from the current owners of that lease. However, I understand that in order for the mayor to approve that lease, he wanted to know whether the people of Taipei approve of us building a large, beautiful NVIDIA constellation here? Do you? He also asked for you to call him. And so I'm sure you know his numbers. Everybody call him right away. Tell him that you think it's a great idea. So this is going to be NVIDIA Constellation. We're going to build it. We're going to start building as soon as we can. We need the office space. NVIDIA Constellation, Beidou, Xiling. Very exciting. Okay. Well, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for your partnership over the years. We are at a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It is not an understatement to say that the opportunity ahead of us is extraordinary. For the very first time in all of our time together, not only are we creating the next generation of IT, we've done that several times. From PC to internet to cloud to mobile cloud, we've done that several times. But this time, not only are we creating the next generation of IT, we are in fact creating a whole new industry. This whole new industry is going to expose us to giant opportunities ahead. I look forward to partnering with all of you on building AI factories, agents for enterprises, robots, all of you amazing partners building the ecosystem with us around one architecture. And so I want to thank all of you for coming today. Have a great COMPUTEX, everybody. 大家谢谢. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you.